0 to 1, for me, it's making sure that you're so close to the user, as close as possible. Sometimes you have to put yourself into situations where you're slightly outside of your comfort zone. Start already wearing a product hat today. I think all of us can already be doing things to either try out whether we like product management. The biggest similarity that I've seen between these two sectors is that there is not a lot of room for error.
Welcome to a new episode of Tech Table Talks. Today we are joined by Silvija Skemaite, a product leader with a wealth of experience in building HR and FinTech products. Silvija is currently a lead product manager at Apollo Global Management, where she helps shape innovative capital solutions and impactful products for clients globally. Previously at Ceres Financial, she spearheaded the strategy for an AI product unlocking a potential of $85 million market cap and driving a 75% increase in delivery speed. At ADP, she led agile teams to save $1 million annually and delivered a $10 million project that enhanced user experience, cutting error time by 40%. Beyond her incredible career achievements, Silvija is passionate about mentoring and helping people break into the world of product management by sharing best practices and valuable insights. We have yet to meet another product manager with a career like Silvija's. So with that, let's dive in.
Hey Silvija, welcome to Tech Table Talks. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you today? And thanks for having me today. I'm super excited to chat with you.
No worries. Yeah, doing very well. I know it's been a little while since we've been planning for this episode, and I'm super excited to chat to you. You have a ton of incredible experience as a product leader across large companies, large corporates, and also fast emerging startups as well. So yeah, very excited to learn more, and I'm sure everyone's very grateful to learn from you.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Where are you based? Or where are you usually? Are you in the US?
Yes, I am. I'm in New York City. The day we're recording, it's beginning of October, so it's honestly the most beautiful time of the year in New York City that I always tell everyone to visit during this time.
Is this your favorite time of the year usually?
In New York City, yes. Otherwise, I would say summer, but summers are just too hot in New York City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I do miss New York City a bit, but yeah, fall and spring is definitely my favorite time of the year. With that, why don't you maybe spend in like 30, 60 seconds to tell a little bit about yourself and your background?
Of course. Awesome. So most recently, I was a senior product manager at Ceres, which was a FinTech back office tooling company. So we're entirely Series A, and I got to run a lot of awesome products over there, including some of the AI products too. Before that, I was for about 3.5 years at ADP, and I was working on payroll applications. Got a chance to work on apps entirely 0 to 1, which doesn't happen at corporate companies that often. So I do feel lucky that I got to have that experience. And during nights and weekends, while I was still at ADP, I was also working on my own bootstrapped startup within the tech search and job search space. So yeah, I'm glad to chat more about that. I'm overall super excited to always share my experiences, and I'm always trying to help build communities, and you have such an amazing community that you've created, and I love mentoring, and that's why one of the other things that I've done is a lot of mentoring and coaching with Product Craft Your Story.
Amazing. Yeah, such incredible experience. I love meeting product managers. I feel like there's a common theme that love building, love supporting others, love mentoring, give back. Like, you know, yourself, I know myself, very similar goals, and I really like that. And yeah, thank you for sharing your experience. It's super diverse, and I'm excited to dive in. Maybe I know we connected actually through you registering to like one of the Tech to Table events, and unfortunately we couldn't make it happen, or you couldn't make it happen that day. But like, what do you think excites you about events, or like kind of meeting people in person? What value do you think you get out of that?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I'm so glad that we're able to meet back in person. I think we're all, myself included, I'm so excited and I'm craving that personal connection in person. It's really nothing that we can create similar online. It's those sparked conversations that we might have, spontaneous conversations that we could have, and it just definitely feels like we can connect and be more vulnerable with each other without kind of the screen standing right in between us. So I've definitely enjoyed in-person meetups so much more, and I've been seeking them out. So I'm glad that you're hosting some, and yeah, and I'm always looking for new ones to attend in New York City too.
Sounds great. I couldn't agree more. Particularly cities like New York, San Francisco, where there's a lot of expats or people traveling or new to the city with not too many friends. I think it's such a great way to meet like-minded people.
That's true. And I've seen the rise of kind of paid communities and kind of people really wanting to connect with like-minded people. So I think there's so much opportunity to kind of continue helping people connect, find friends, especially like right now we're living in the AI era where we are seeing every single day, right? Like Character AI or any other startup kind of trying to, or friend.com, trying to really kind of like replace that human connection. But I think at the end of the day, even post AI, maybe it's going to enhance it. We'll see how that plays out, but we can't replace human connection. So I think it's really important.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack on that topic, like the future of companionship and connection and what that looks like over the next decade is very fascinating. But before we get there, just backtracking to your experience at your product management experience at ADP and Series a bit. I know some of the projects you mentioned there was 0 to 1 within a large corporate at ADP, and then also kind of 0 to 1 at a very fast growing startup. Could you share any like learnings or experiences, maybe some challenges or considerations building 0 to 1?
Absolutely. So I think at the end of the day, 0 to 1 for me, it's making sure that you're so close to the user, as close as possible. So that was true to me, even in a corporate environment and in a startup environment, that it was really important that I stay close. So even if at ADP I was building an internal product, I was flying out to Georgia to really observe those conversations that they were having, the payroll associates were having, so I could build better products for them. And I can also be super close to them so they feel part of the process. So those type of conversations I think are the most rewarding and help me understand the value the best that I can provide via the product that I'm building. And the same is true in startup environments. I mean, every single startup has been built on a problem that is at the core of that we're trying to solve for that specific target user. So has been super rewarding from that sense. I think product management is my first love, but I think user research is my second love. So I've been really fortunate to be in that space, kind of 0 to 1, where I can really do a lot of that and stay close to them.
Wow, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Your second love is UXR. I always love hearing product managers like, if they weren't a PM, what would they be? I think like for me, it's like product design. I feel like that's my second love. But UXR is really cool too. Maybe just double clicking onto that and being a little bit more tactical, whether you can like talk about an example, whether a series or ADP or one of your startups that you've worked on, how have you kind of like different strategies to get closer to customers? Is it you just use one example, flying to them and sitting next to them? Are there any others that you've or approaches you've kind of applied?
Yeah. So most recently at the startup, when we went through a pivot and we were trying out different ideas, I've always been super scrappy. And I think when it comes to user research or just trying to get closer to customers, sometimes you have to put yourself into situations where you're slightly outside of your comfort zone. So I had to and really wanted to get firsthand experience and firsthand conversations with users. So first of all, like I sent out a lot of surveys. Some of them landed, some of them didn't. So then I knew that I needed to personalize more, put myself out there even more. So what really helped me is actually reaching out to folks on LinkedIn, just kind of seeing, okay, like people that are in similar space that might be potentially might find the product that we're building useful, and just reach out to them and put myself out there, because at the end of the day, kind of showing that humility, showing that you're okay, maybe this is not my first priority, or maybe this is not in my title, but I'm able to do reach out to somebody, a stranger, and kind of just talk to them about, okay, what are the things that you're working on right now that where it overlaps, and we can work on it together. So that's exactly what I did. I reached out to a bunch of people, and of course, not every single shot you take lands, but I did get multiple really good conversations that helped us with our pivot and validating the idea that the team is still currently working on.
That's really cool. I love the hustle and just trying to find a way around, I guess, hurdles and challenges along the way.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you know it. In product management, you just have to do whatever it takes, because not every single time we're going to be able to leverage tools or hire a consultant to do some of that research for us, or even to know that there's a lot of great tools where you can hire a platform to find users to talk to. So sometimes you just have to go old style and just reach out to folks.
Yeah. And I'm sure you can actually explain this better than me, but I feel like the maturity of a product and company is quite different. Like, imagine a company like Google, YouTube, or Instagram. You have users knocking on your front door to do user interviews versus like maybe a 5-person startup. Like, you really have to go look for people to willing to just take time out of the day to have a conversation. I feel it's very different.
Very true.
Awesome. I do want to quickly talk about, I know you built in like HRTech at ADP and then FinTech as well. Were there any similarities or big differences between the two for you? And if so, what were they? Would just love to talk more. And I think like FinTech and HRTech is pretty interesting in terms of, I feel like today we live in a world where lines are getting blurrier. You know, FinTech are becoming HRTech companies and HRTech are becoming FinTech companies. So yeah, would love to just hear more about your direct experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest similarity that I've seen between these two sectors is that there is not a lot of room for error. So, or I would say almost zero room for error, because at the end of the day, whether I was working with payroll or whether I was working with cash management or accounting tools for our clients, at the end of the day, everything has to work as a well-oiled machine, because the consequences of it not working well are huge. Maybe some person is not going to get paid. Maybe some sort of taxes are not going to get reported correctly. So sometimes things as, minor bugs at companies like that are actually major bugs, because we can be launching something. And that's something that I had to really kind of learn through experience and kind of account for it in my other product launches, to make sure that I'm always allocating a lot of time for extra testing. We're allocating time for any unforeseen bugs, because we can't launch with them if it means one number is off within a payroll system or a FinTech system.
I totally agree. Compliance and just accuracy and completeness is very important in anything relating to compliance. With that, I know you mentioned you have a bit of AI experience and you're building in that space. I think this is a great, not pivot, but just double clicking on that. We've heard a lot about AI agents and autonomous agents and relying on AI to do X and Y. What's your thoughts on AI agents in compliance space, like FinTech, HRTech? Do you see a future of little agents running around to run payroll, or do you think like you always need a payroll officer? Any thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. I think we're not there just yet, in my opinion. I mean, I'm super excited that we have the opportunity right now to build in the AI world and to really leverage all of those capabilities and make our lives easier and some of these tasks much faster. And with every single model that's being released, that's what we're seeing. All of the responses are getting better. We can start tackling more and more complex problems. So when it comes to HR space, when it comes to compliance, I think that it's still going to take some time until we can really get there. First of all, people don't trust it just yet, That's totally fair. We are still a long way to go in terms of accuracy, in terms of not having any hallucinations, because we are working with really significant data and a lot of sensitive data. So I think there is still going to be oversight that we need to have, and maybe we can automate some of the, and I've seen a lot of new startups popping up specifically in the compliance space that are doing a great job in kind of preparing for that next step of when the models get better, when we're able to reduce the number of hallucinations and things like that, where they're going to be succeeding in helping people make better decisions, faster decisions. So I'm really excited for that time, but I think we still have some time until we get there. What do you think?
Agree. Yeah, I think this space of FinTech, HRTech compliance, my take in 2024 today with human in the loop is still much required. I think I'm hoping a lot of the AI efficiencies would be allowing people to do more with less and save time and be more efficient. So particularly this area, it's one mistake can be quite detrimental. So I think this is just empowering people in the space to do more. But who knows? Who knows? I think in 10, 20 years time, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see how this conversation ages.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. On that note, like just a fun one. Do you have a favorite kind of AI company building this space today, or like even not within this space, like in any ones that you've been following that you're like just wow, that's pretty interesting?
Yeah, I've been really impressed with AC1 Adaptive Computer. They've been building something that is pretty much as simple as entering a prompt and it spits out a piece of software for you. And it could be as simple as a simple game, or it can be even more complex as maybe your own emailing or scheduling type of agent. So I've been really following them closely, super excited about them, just because they're really taking the approach of let's put the human in the loop first. Let's have a guided experience. I've really liked that they've doubled down and double clicked on making sure that the experience is guided so that the expectations of what the person is building is as close as what they have written. So it's been just really exciting to see like what we can do with AI, and enabling so many founders, so many product managers and other builders to build something really quickly. Before, we would need to kind of think about it or draw it on a napkin, but now you can even build a quick functional prototype with just a few prompts. And that's what really excites me of how the different use cases that we're going to be using AI for in our personal lives and in our professional lives.
Yeah. Is AC1, are you talking about Anthropic Claude?
So that's different, but yeah, it's ac1.com.
Nice.
Yeah, I think they're a relatively new startup, but yeah, I love Claude and Claude Artifacts as well.
Amazing. Yeah.
There's, I would say they're a competitor, Claude Artifacts.
Nice. On that note, I love this topic. I think I mentioned earlier, I think my second love is product design. So I love like talking about just the future user experience and UI of kind of AI native, AI first products. Do you have a view on what that may look like over the next decade? Like currently or traditionally B2B SaaS or SaaS solution has been kind of left nav, top nav, like click and find what you want to see. We're seeing this trend of like chat boxes and search boxes and AI like voices becoming a lot more powerful with OpenAI as well. Any like exciting from your perspective? What do you think is the future user experience for tooling and software?
Yeah, that's a great and really exciting question. I think that we're yet to see of what that's going to look like, and I have a lot of different hypotheses, but at the core of it is personalization. So sort of AI is that it's that friend, that companion in the background that's kind of helping and surfacing its recommendations, its questions, whatever it is, kind of as you go, whenever the information becomes relevant. So I don't think that chatbots are going to be the ultimate user user experience. I think it's just a temporary experience that we're currently having. But I think with more and more products are being created and people are focusing, and that's what I'm really excited about, that people are focusing more and going back to the problems that they're trying to solve instead of just adding AI just to add AI. So I'm really glad for that we're seeing that shift. So I think it's going to be super personalized, where AI is almost in the background and it's helping you be better and do better at whatever you're trying to accomplish.
I couldn't agree more. It is a fascinating topic. Like, there's so many different ways to, I guess, provide an input these days, like text, voice, visual. It's yeah, I'm not too sure what the next decade looks like, but it's exciting. That's what I know.
It's definitely exciting. I think it's all about like meeting people where they're at. We're gonna be seeing, I think, a lot of those integrations of AI into existing workflows and new ones being created too.
And you talked about briefly how it's driven efficiencies, like professionally and also personally for you. Any top AI tools that you've used yourself that has driven a lot of like value or helped you in your day-to-day?
Yeah, I've loved Cloud Artifacts and AC1, as I just mentioned. I've used that in my professional life to cook up some quick prototypes. There's also amazing user interface tools that are popping up. One of them is UI Wizard, uizard.com, where I'm able again to type in a prompt, especially if it's relatively something simple. It spits out already a couple of different visuals that I can work with and I can easily edit. So I absolutely love that. It saves me a lot of time and I can at least have a starting point with something that I'm already brainstorming. So those are a couple that have already been working and that I've been the most excited about. And of course, the Claude itself, ChatGPT, they're just getting better. So I really like that all of these companies are adding more capabilities like long-term memory, as well as adding more context, so we can have more of those informed conversations that are just not just scraping the internet, but being more personalized to us.
Yeah. I'm so excited for the world of like just personalized software and really knowing like me, myself, and my background and my needs, and yeah, that's going to be such a fun experience, I feel like, over the next few years. With that, I do want to maybe get a bit tactical on your experience building an AI. I know we've just heard some of your favorite things in the space, but as a builder, you mentioned as a product leader, you've kind of had some hands-on experience building in this space. Could you share a bit more about that experience? What were you building and any learnings along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we were working on really experimenting with AI and working with some of our customers to see, okay, how can we really push the entire industry forward? So at first, of course, like as always, we started out with something as simple as a chatbot specifically for FinTech folks, and quickly we realized that something very specific and niche, not just cut it for our users, because they do want to have a lot of security around the data that they're sharing, especially in the fintech space, right? There's a lot of sensitive data. So we quickly understood that might not be the absolute best product in terms of what we can offer to finance people. And we've seen that happening across, like with other products as well, where now they're creating enterprise level plans to make sure that there is the right security in place, the right capabilities in place. However, from that entire learning experience, I've definitely noticed that context is definitely king. I mean, I already mentioned this, that personalization. So I was able to really test out one of the features that we were able to launch. And funny enough, later on, I saw, I think it was HubSpot CEO also implementing a similar feature, which was email interface, something that people are already using in their day-to-day. They're receiving a lot of data through email, whether it is just written emails, whether it is some sort of documents. So what if we were able to forward that to an AI agent and kind of just talk exactly in the email, or maybe if we forward that, it easily gets uploaded to the product that we're building. So kind of being super close to the workflows that are people currently using and constantly adapting to what people are using. Where are they making all of those decisions? Where are they spending most of their time has been most of what I continuously think about as we build products.
That's very cool. I actually used that email tool. I think it was by Dimesh or from HubSpot. It was like forwarding an email and then you'll get like a draft response back, like a draft email that you can forward. Yeah, very, very fascinating. How do you think through? That's a fun topic, and I've had this conversation with a few PMs. How do you think about like building on top of existing workflows, or maybe building a net new product in itself? What were some like principles or tenets that you thought through as you approach these problems?
I think anytime that we're building, something on top of an existing product, I think at the end of the day, we always need to be thinking about what problem are we trying to solve, and do we really need AI for that specific problem? So just adding AI is not going to make your product better, it's not going to make the user's life easier. So always kind of really being critical about it and questioning it. Okay, do I really need this type of interface, this type of experience for the user that's going to bring the most value? So I've been thinking a lot about that in terms of existing workflows, and even when we're building entirely net new tools, still user is at the core of it. I think we've seen a lot of companies kind of rise and then quickly, unfortunately, fall just because they were more excited about the technology instead of the user that they're trying to solve for. So I think those are key considerations that we should all be thinking about as product people.
Yeah, I love it. Some great points there. So with that, Silvia, I know we probably talked about AI quite a bit already. Love to take a pivot and go on a tangent about backtracking on some of your early experiences. I know you've been a founder before. I think your company was called My Pipeline. Could you share a bit more about that, what it was, and a bit more about that journey?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm always glad to talk about it. So I bootstrapped a pipeline back in 2020, and it all started entirely from my own problem that I was having, which is exactly job search, feeling lonely, and the entire process being very disjointed with so many spreadsheets all over the place and not really being able to track anything really efficiently. So I created that. I bootstrapped it with a few engineers at the time and a designer, and we went actually through 2 accelerators where we learned so much about just business building. I think that's where I really cemented my passion for product management, for building something 0 to 1, kind of really being close to the user. And I still use it till this day, even though I have paused it.
Wow, it's live?
Yes,
it's still live. Wow.
It is live. I've paused sort of like my operations on it, but I am still very excited about this space, because I think right now with AI, I see that a lot of companies building in the space, and with AI we can make people's lives so much better in terms of job search, because our entire thing was you can as simply as just grab your link that you're applying to for an application, you drop it, we get all of the information out for you. You can track it, add your notes, share it with your network, not just your ups, it's all about sharing the ups and downs during that job search. So I think right now with AI, I see a lot of opportunity where we can kind of, again, be that personalized job search buddy that helps you prepare for interviews and beyond.
I love it. Oh, wow. I feel like we should brainstorm after this podcast. I have so many ideas on how we can take this, but I couldn't agree more. It sometimes makes me think about the timing of things, right? It's like timing is also a very important aspect for startups and businesses. And with this AI wave, like, your idea maybe 4 years ago, and if you were building it now, like the solution would look very different, or the product would look very different. And I find that fascinating.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, we've heard so many stories about it, that some some products were just too early in the market, and then later on they were the big winners. But yeah, I agree with you. I think with a lot of ideas, and I think as builders, we continuously kind of continuously check in, see, okay, like, would technology help me solve this problem better now than it did 4 years ago? And if the answer is yes, there's still an opportunity to do something about it.
Very cool. Do you know their website by any chance for the listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. It's mypipeline.io. I'm happy to share that.
Awesome. We'll include it in the show notes for people to check it out. Awesome. I do want to also touch on your career coaching passion. I know you do a lot of mentoring and supporting, I guess, early professionals and PMs as well. Can you tell a little bit more about that in your experience and kind of what gives you energy with mentoring as well, and why do you love it so much?
As we've been chatting, I think that we definitely have this in common, that we love helping people, we love bringing people together. And if I can help one person break into product management, I'm going to be so happy that I chose this entire path and I was able to give that back to the community. So I've been doing it ever since I've been in product management, kind of progressively as I've been growing in this field. I've been helping people anywhere from university to early PM careers to career switchers to really help both sell themselves, but also believe in themselves that they can be product managers. Because I understand, like, I was also very daunted by this entire path starting out. There's definitely a lot of competition. There's definitely a lot of confidence that goes into making product decisions. A lot of hard skills go into it as well. So if I can share my experiences of how I broke into product and that's going to help somebody, I'm all about it. I'm definitely I want to continue doing that even on a larger scale. So I'm hoping to kind of put something a little bit more formal in a format of a course, so you can keep me accountable, so I can spread that knowledge to even more people.
That's really cool. I couldn't agree more. I love kind of demystifying the craft of product and tech in general. I think lowering barriers to entry and I guess helping people understand the highs and lows. Like PMs, I think like a lot of people on the outside think it's like an amazing shiny product, but in the inside there's a lot of grind, and like we spoke about earlier, you kind of need thick skin and you're always grinding things out. So yeah, just sharing like the reality of being a product manager is very important.
Exactly. And that a lot of people might already be doing product management, or it might be a really great fit for them, but they might not be aware, or they might not know how to really make that pivot and draw those parallels. So I think that's also really empowering for people that decide to go into product, and then they see it's like, wow, I've been this user obsessed and a user advocate all along, and I'm able to do this. So that's super energizing for me.
Yeah. Really cool. Just maybe getting tactical on an advice you can give on people wanting to crack into PM as a student or experienced professional, maybe pivoting from another role or craft. Any tips you may give? I've definitely mentored a lot of students and professionals in other areas like finance or operations strategy that are interested, and it's always interesting to hear from other product leaders their thoughts as well. So would love any advice you may have for the listeners and audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think number one thing is start already wearing a product hat today. I think all of us can already be doing things to either try out whether we like product management in your current role, whether it is taking up additional responsibilities or just building something on your own. That's how I sort of like stumbled into it as well. I didn't have a product manager title, but how about I'm just going to be a product manager and build something from scratch. So I think kind of being a builder, really showing that initiative, that you can think outside of the box, you can go the extra mile and initiate things on your own, I think is already a huge plus that all of the exceptional product managers have. So I think that's always the first step of believing in yourself that you can do it, and kind of putting on that builder hat and already going out there and starting to solve problems.
Yeah, self-belief, self-confidence is huge. Not even for job hunting, but everything in life, I feel.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. I guess on that note, I think a good question to round us out, because I know we're approaching time before the close. What do you think of the future of the PM craft with AI and how, the emerging technology trends? Do you think the profession will change a lot over the next few years, and how will that change? Just some fun thoughts.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of just overall efficiency being in our efficiency being just kind of like skyrocketing. Now we're able to use a lot of different AI tools to make our lives easier, write user stories much quicker. However, that's never going to replace that human creativity, that outside of the box thinking. So I know that a lot of people are worried about, okay, what's going to happen to the role, but I'm still a strong believer that at the end of the day, we're still able to really connect all of the different dots. That's our strength as product managers, that we're able to really look at something that looks like chaos or ambiguity and really make sense out of it, make an action plan from it. And all of these tools that are already becoming available to us are only going to make us that more efficient at it. So I'm definitely excited for the next few years. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of great product managers emerging, building new AI products, entirely starting new practices, because in this new AI era, we're kind of rewriting the rules. A lot of the old rules might no longer apply of how to build successful products or how to make a certain product really stick with users. So I'm really excited that we're going to be in this new wave of building products and shaping that future.
Very cool. I'm so excited to see what you build in or just applying all your vast experience. But thank you for that, Silvia. I guess with that, we're approaching the final segment. So we're going to close off with the Fast Five. Fast Five are basically 5 quick questions, about you and for the audience to quickly get to know you. How does that sound?
Sounds great. I'm excited.
Awesome. Let's get started. First of all, my favorite question is, as a product manager, what is your favorite product and why?
I have to say that for me, it's the products that are most personalized and timely, that are meeting me where I'm at. So whether it is ramp texts, whenever I charge the card and I get the text immediately to submit a receipt, I absolutely love that. Or even the newest features on Apple Lock Screen, where Google Maps or food delivery updates are just showing up right there at the exact time that I need them. So I think we're going to be seeing way more of that, and I'm just super excited to start seeing it across the board.
Yeah, big kudos to Ramp on that. It's so interesting to hear you say that. Like, someone loves expenses and expense reimbursement. They made a product that people love doing expenses, which is very hard.
I know, yeah, they did a great job, and I think at the end of the day, it's almost like a gamified experience that I just get to do it right there, right then.
Yeah. Very impressive company. I actually went to one of Eric Glyman's, the founder of Ramp's speech. He had a conversation in the office in New York. I love how he describes Ramp as not a fintech, but a productivity tool that saves time for users, or time and money. But yeah, that saving time aspect really resonates. And I think the SMS and text part is just one avenue of saving time.
Yeah. Love that.
Very cool. Next question. Obviously, with Taxi Table, it has mostly been bringing people together for dinners. So we'd love to hear, if you could have dinner with anyone, who would that be and why?
Yeah. Honestly, we just talked about Ram. I'd love to have a dinner with Eric, just to kind of pick his brain. I think with the newest releases that they've been working on, they've just kind of defined a lot of what Ramp is, and now they're expanding. So I really would love to hear his thoughts on the vision of Ramp, as well as how AI is going to be implemented in the next 5 years.
Yeah. That would definitely be one of my top 5s as well. So I love that answer. I guess looking back on your journey, and you've had an incredible career today, if someone wanted to kind of follow your pathway, what advice would you have on, kind of working in large corporate as a product leader and then startups? Any tips?
Always make sure that you're having fun along the way. I really believe that, product management, it's almost like a mindset, almost like a way of life in a sense that, right? Like there's always going to be a lot of stress related to it. There's always going to be ups and downs. So you really have to make sure that it aligns well with both your personality and what you want out of your career. So I know that I've had, like a lot of heart-to-heart conversations with folks in the industry as well as in my personal life, just to make sure, okay, like, do I really want to sign up to all of that? And is it going to be rewarding? So that's why I did build a lot of stuff even before going into the profession, kind of more formally, so to make sure that it's all going to be worth it, because I think then that passion for folks really shines through in their day-to-day when they're having fun, when they're excited about the craft and not really doing it for the money.
Couldn't agree more. I can tell products like perfect for you because I feel like PMs are creators. They love creating things from zero, and I kind of applied that with Tech to Table as well. Like just create something out of nothing. And I think creativity, there's different ways to show creativity. I know some PMs love pottery and art, and that's their way of like creating things. And then there's other people like, you and I that like love mentoring and events and stuff like that. So I love that. Maybe thinking ahead and into the future, any thoughts or opinions on like the future of product management or tech, like anything that excites you about the industry?
I think we already touched upon this a little bit, but I'm just, when I'm thinking about the future, I'm just excited for the world to kind of even be moving towards a direction where human connection continues to be at the core of it, so that we don't lose track of, with all of the different technologies coming out, we don't lose track of human connection, our passions as people, instead of just kind of racing for that next technology, because I think that can just enable us as people. But at the end of the day, human connection is, and that connectivity, not feeling lonely, especially in this day and age when that's just rising. So I'm really excited to see how technology perhaps can help enable that, but not replace it.
Yeah. When you were saying that, I found it really interesting how maybe 20, 30 years ago we were building things or creating things to bring people together in person, and then the last few years we've been building things to like virtually, digitally connection, and it feels like we're moving to the next wave of bringing people back together.
Yes.
I don't know, it just feels like we're going through these waves, which is really interesting to think about.
You're so right.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think one of the reasons why I started Tech to Table, and I think the value that it creates for people is really creating friendships and bringing people, like-minded people together. So love that answer.
And I think you created it just at a perfect time as well, when people are like really, really craving that connection, that intentional coming to table and having those conversations. So it's not just a drive-by or something that's transactional, and instead it's more like you mentioned, building friendships. So
yeah,
I really appreciate you doing that.
No, appreciate it. Awesome, Silvia. Last question, a deep one, but I think I really enjoy this one. But what's your favorite quote or a mantra you live by in your day-to-day?
Yeah. Any time that I'm faced with any challenge, or any time I think about, okay, should I say it? Should I share that idea? Should I ask that question? Whatever I'm dealing with right in front of me, I always live by it. Say it. What could go wrong? Or what's the worst that could happen? So I'm always continuously sort of like, I think that helps build kind of confidence. That also helps put ourselves out of this state of overthinking, because a lot of times we do have a lot to bring to the table. We have a lot to contribute to the conversation, but sometimes overthinking it is just, it's not doing us any good. So I think a lot of times it's important to share those ideas or ask those questions, because a lot of people might be thinking about it, or it might spark an entirely new idea that wouldn't otherwise been there.
I love that. Yeah, the opposite could be such a bad feeling, right? Like a feeling of regret and if only I did this, if only I did that, which is like probably one of my mantras, like live a life of no regrets.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing, Sylvia. All right. Well, with that, I think we nailed it with timing. We're at time. I appreciate you joining the podcast. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I know all the listeners and audience is going to get a lot of value. We covered a lot. We talked a lot about AI, your background, and your views about the future of tech, and I really appreciate all your insights.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, David.
Awesome, Sylvia. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another serving of Tech to Table Talks. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you found the podcast valuable and entertaining, please support us by subscribing to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube channels. Please also give us a rating or leave a review to help us reach more listeners. Until next time, we'll see you in the next episode and also at a table near you.